Hello, Troy Simbasini here. Thank you for tuning into the channel. In this video today, what I'm going to do is break down the 10 most expensive suburbs in regional Queensland. We're going to work our way through from number 10 down to number 1 to see who takes out the top gong. Stick around because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised who and where is the most expensive suburb in regional Queensland. Just a quick note that when I talk about regional Queensland here, I'm referring to basically Toowoomba up to Cairns and Port Douglas, everywhere along the regional Queensland east coast and all of the major regional hubs that sit in between Toowoomba and Cairns tropical North Queensland. What's excluded is obviously the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast. So you'll see Hervey Bay, Toowoomba, Townsville, Cairns, Early Beach, the Capricorn Coast, etc. all on this list. Alright guys, let's jump in. Okay, coming in at number 10 is Craignish in Hervey Bay with a median house price of $835,000. So Craignish, Hervey Bay, obviously on the Fraser Coast, a couple of hours north of Brisbane, and it comes in at number 10 on our list. It has a variety of different stock, a lot of high-end homes, a lot of properties that sit on large blocks. It's very attractive to home buyers and those that have moved from the capital city. It's been a very popular landing spot for a lot of people chasing lifestyle. I think over the last 12 months, one of the most expensive sales was around $2.5 million in this suburb. Hervey Bay, Craignish coming in at number 10. Alright, number 9 on the list is North Ward in Townsville, coming in with a median house price of $840,000. It's good to see Townsville making the list here because it is our biggest regional hub in Queensland in terms of population size. So North Ward, for those who are unfamiliar with Townsville, is located down near the Esplanade, very central location. So a lot of high-end homes that sort of face the water is nested around the North Ward area. I think North Ward going forward, a lot of the stock there will be converted more to higher density, medium density apartments, and a lot of the available land there is more moving and being sold to developers per se. So land value is going up, and that as a result is raising the median house price because I think a lot of developers are coming in and buying up property there. So North Ward, number 9 on the list. Okay, coming in at number 8, we have Blue Mountain Heights, which is in Toowoomba at $855,000. So for those who are unfamiliar with Toowoomba, Toowoomba is about an hour west of Brisbane, and the Blue Mountains Heights suburb is a very upmarket area in Toowoomba. A lot of rural residential accommodation there and house types, and a lot of people there are buying property up to around $1.3 million, but the median sort of sits at around $855,000. So Toowoomba comes in at number 8 on the list. Okay, coming in at number 7 on the list, we have Clifton Beach, Cairns, with a median house price of $862,000. Number 7, Cairns. Good to see Cairns on the list here. I love Cairns. I actually used to live in Clifton Beach. So for those who are unfamiliar with Cairns, Cairns has a set of northern beaches, which tends to be one of the most desirable parts of Cairns itself. And Clifton Beach sits among that. So a very tropical sort of destination. Lovely beaches, lovely foreshore. And it was very popular, particularly during COVID-19, where a lot of people from Sydney and Melbourne made the mass exodus up into the tropics, and places like Clifton Beach went bananas, but it seems to be still holding its value very well, coming in at number 7 on the list. Okay, excuse my handwriting here, you can barely see that, but coming in at number 6 is Castle Hill, which is in Townsville with a median house price of $870,000. It's funny because Castle Hill is actually the neighbouring suburb to North Ward. They basically share the same sort of lifestyle driver, amenity, location, etc., proximity to the CBD. So these two suburbs, are really doing a lot of the heavy lifting for Townsville, as you can see. And look, I'm not surprised Castle Hill comes in at number 6. When you look at Castle Hill as a suburb, for those who are unfamiliar with Townsville, you have a lot of those lovely homes sort of spread across Castle Hill itself that overlook the ocean, and yeah, some of those views are quite breathtaking. So you can see why a lot of those homes are quite expensive there and why it's made number 6 on our list today. All right, this one's a bit of a surprise. Coming in at number 5, we have a suburb called Roslyn, which is in Yeppoon on the Capricorn coast, with a median house price of $877,000. Yeah, this is a pretty small suburb in the Capricorn Coast community of Yeppoon, located near the marina or the harbour part of Yeppoon. Yeah, some very lovely high-end homes there with close proximity to the beach and the water. This one also was a very popular location for those during the COVID-19 period looking to escape from Sydney and Melbourne. So we saw those house prices along Yeppoon and the Capricorn Coast really surge during that period. But yeah, very surprising to see Central Queensland here on the list and the little suburb of Roslyn in the mix of the most expensive suburbs in regional Queensland. Okay, number 4 on the list is Dundaran Beach, which is in Hervey Bay, with a median house price of $930,000. And as you can see, it's actually the first on the list here to break into that $900,000 median house price tag. Very interesting to see 2 suburbs in Hervey Bay on the Fraser Coast make the list also. So that just goes to show that as a region or as a town, in terms of Hervey Bay, it seems to be very desirable for people that want to spend big in property. Okay, we're down to the top 3, and I think no one was expecting this bolter here to be on the list, but Port Douglas, which is in the Cairns region, comes in at number 3 with a median house price of $975,000. Wow, a little small town in Port Douglas, which is predominantly tourist-led, is in the top 3 most expensive suburbs in regional Queensland. But when you do look at a lot of the stock there in Port Douglas, there are a lot of big boutique Airbnb residents there that drive up the median house prices. There are luxury apartments, villas there that overlook 4 Mile Beach, that overlook McCrossan Street, that fetch over $1 million or more on the regular. There's heaps of new development there. A lot of money gets poured into Port Douglas by big hotel chains, big boutique developers that are always spending big there and always having, I suppose, upmarket and luxury stock there. And I think it really appeals to those that are living overseas, living in Sydney, living in Melbourne, that want to own a holiday home in Port Douglas. At the same time, Port Douglas has been also very desirable for people that want to retire as well, in a lot of those big luxury villas and in a lot of those big tropical homes that are located in there. But Port Douglas comes in at number 3. All right, coming in at number 2, we have Early Beach, which is in the Whitsundays with a median house price of $1 million. And this one is probably another bolter where a lot of people might have thought, hey, how did that one make the list? But when you do think about Early Beach, it is one of the most beautiful parts of the Queensland East Coast, Whitsundays, Whitehaven Beach, Shute Harbour, that is amongst some of the most pristine and lush vegetation along the Queensland East Coast. And as a result, I think a lot of that lifestyle amenity there is really driving house prices. So we see in and around Early Beach, Shute Harbour, Cannon Vale, a lot of properties with a price tag of over $1 million. Very desirable for retirees and very popular with a lot of the wealthier mining families that are sort of living within a close proximity to a lot of the mines around central Queensland. So Early Beach, number 2 on the list. Crazy. Okay, coming in at number 1, we have Palm Cove in Cairns with a median house price of $1.1 million, trumping everyone on this list. We have a Cairns-based beach suburb in Palm Cove. So for those who aren't familiar with Cairns, Palm Cove is, I suppose, the most northern beach of Cairns that has a lot of the residential stock there. Very high-end upmarket area, one of the most beautiful beaches on the Queensland East Coast has a wonderful esplanade for sure, shops, cafes, restaurants, bars, very popular with the retiree market, very popular with the executive market in Cairns, and the wealthy tend to all have the Palm Cove address, and it was very, very popular, particularly during COVID-19, the period there where a lot of people wanted to escape down south, and Palm Cove copped a beating with a lot of their prices. And in saying that, Palm Cove also has no new available land. There's, I think, only a couple of little small infill developments or subdivisions happening in and around Palm Cove, and I think a 450 square meter allotment costs like $1 million now. So it doesn't have a whole lot of available land or stock available there, and I think that is going to continue to drive that median house price a lot higher than that well into the future. But look guys, you're probably wondering, Troy, why did you go through all this effort in putting together this list? Look, this is just some value I wanted to give to you, but at the same time, one of the big things I see in regional Queensland with a lot of our most expensive suburbs is that they're still very, very affordable when you start to compare them to the inner middle ring suburbs of Melbourne, inner ring middle suburbs of Sydney, the northern beaches of Sydney, parts of Brisbane, the inner middle ring, the Gold Coast, the Sunshine Coast, that all have a median house price certainly above $2, $3, $4 million. So when you start to benchmark those opportunities against the opportunities that are available in regional Queensland, your dollar could go a lot further. And when you start to look at the median house prices here relative to those in the city, it's still very affordable. So that's why I see, if you are looking at investing in regional Queensland or buying, if you buy into these high-end suburbs, I think they still have a lot of upside potential when you start to compare and contrast them to those in the capital cities, because there's still a lot of wiggle room for people even in the capital cities. Let's say someone sells a $3 million house in inner Melbourne and buy in Cairns, something at around 1.1 to 1.2 is still very affordable for them. So there's still a lot of wiggle room for the market to increase over time. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like and share. If you do have any questions pertaining to the contents of the video, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to jump in and answer those. Thank you guys, and good luck.